Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we've got this little Honda lawnmower that's just got all sorts of little issues. But today we're focusing on getting it running. Now, I threw a little starter fluid in it and she kicks a little bit, so I think she's worth saving. So let's get started.
Ready to go.
Okay. As always, job one's going to be to get the old gas out of the way. But it looks like this fuel line's savable. I'd usually cut it, but this one looked okay. So we're going to get the carburetor out of the way and unclamp it. There we go. Okay, come on, buddy. See, now we can reach the clamp pretty easily. Now, if you're doing it to yours, it doesn't even matter what motor it is. Get a good look at the fuel lines. If they don't look really good, go ahead and replace them while you got it apart. It'll just save you a bunch of aggravation. Okay, we'll turn the gas off. And we're going to get a little bit of a drip here, or at least we should. These clamps have got lots of entertainment value. They're worth replacing every time, so don't worry about wrecking them. Every now and again you'll hit one of these that just comes right apart. This one's tied on, so it's not going to come right apart. There we go. We've got that off. Let's go ahead and pop the fuel line. Very gently. As gentle as you can. Take a look, and you can see it looks really nice on the inside. That's unusual. So we'll leave the carburetor right here for the moment. We'll run this off to the side and drain the old gas out. This will take a minute, so we'll be right back. Okay, the gas we got out of it looks pretty bad. Very yellow, obviously not usable. So that could be part of the problem. So we're going to go ahead and clean up the jets on the carburetor, get some new gas in it, and see if we can't get her running. When you hear somebody talk about cleaning the carburetor, they don't actually mean the dirt on the outside and all that. If you're doing it properly, the part you're talking about when you clean the carb, this one's kind of stuck. The part you're talking about, there we go, is in here. You'll take this and we'll clean up where the needle and seat is in here, and we'll also pull the jets out. Now the jets on a Honda are right down the middle. And take a thin flathead screwdriver. Make sure you put plenty of pressure on it because you don't want to strip the little thread in there. This one's fighting back a little bit. There you go, now she's coming. There we go. Now let's see if we can get her to let go. And the fact that we saw the gas come out of the carburetor tells us that the needle and seat are working correctly because it wasn't leaking and there was plenty coming out. Okay, now when you have a jet like this that's stuck, we're going to do this. We're going to take it over to the edge. And you can see it's most of the way out now. You've got the secondary set of threads that go on the nut, and they'll hang up the threads on the jet sometimes. So now that we've got the jet out, cleaning the jet is nothing more than running a wire through it, making sure the center passage on a Honda is completely clean. On a Briggs motor, it's slightly different. But yeah, nothing's going through this one. She's pretty unhappy. There you go. We managed to push her all the way through. Now we're going to run it around, putting force on one side at a time, like so. Now we know we've got to hold down the center. So the next thing we're going to do is pull the emulsion tube out. Now to do that, you can see it in the center of the carburetor. See if you can see it. This little thing sticking up right there. You see the little brass thing sticking up in the center of the carburetor? There you go. Can you see that? Getting the right light on this isn't easy. So we're going to push that down from the top. And then pop it out. Sometimes they push easy, sometimes they don't. This one pushed pretty easy. And you see it's almost out. Now we're going to go to the edge again. And there's our emulsion tube. I don't know if you noticed. Some of this dirt was from the outside. But a lot of it was inside the carburetor. So we're going to take this bench cleaning fluid that fell out and clean the basic dirt off of it. Now we're going to run our wire down the middle. And spin it just like the other one. See, we're spinning it like this. Make sure we got everything. Now we're going to touch on the little holes on the side. These little holes are pretty tiny, so I have to put my glasses on for that. There you go. See, straight through. And what these little holes do is they introduce air into the system and start atomizing the gas before it moves into the carburetor. And that's both good for performance and efficiency, so it's a double win. Sort of like putting headers on an old hot rod. The gas mileage goes up and the horsepower goes up. So you can see, it doesn't look particularly clean, does it? But that's really the only part there is to cleaning a carburetor. Double check this. I'm going to go spray this out real quick, get the junk out of it, make sure it's clean, and we're done. Okay, we got our shiny there. Now remember, a small end goes in like this. See, this is your jet. See, one end is tapered at the top, one end is flat. That flat side sits against the jet itself. Now where's the jet? There you are. Now you can just thread to get past the threads that were keeping it from coming out easily. And make sure when you get her all the way in, make sure she's nice and tight, but nothing crazy. Remember, nobody's impressed that your jet is super tight inside your carburetor. I'm going to check and make sure she pushed back through correctly. And she did. We can see her sticking up there. So this thing's ready to go. We know the needle seat was in good shape because it wasn't leaking and it did have fuel inside it. A lot of you know Hondas are not my favorite engines, mostly because they're just too complicated for what they do. They run okay, and they got a great ad campaign. But when you're working on them, there's always one more step compared to a lot of other engines. So let's take her back over and put her on, see how she runs. Okay, now I'm going to put her back together. Remember the order that we took everything apart. And you want to put it back together in the same exact order. And the reason for that is you won't be able to put the linkage on once you've got the fuel line on. Clip that on. Now we've got our new heavy-duty hose clamp. Very nice. Let's get our gasket back in place. With the Honda, it takes more hands than most people have. Okay, we'll get one screw ready and get it through the carburetor. We get our air box line back on. And that's it. This is one of the simpler Hondas. This is the HRR. The HRRs are a little easier to work on than some of the others. Okay, now for the fun part, first pull. Now if this were a Briggs motor, I'd expect it to start on this first pull. But the GCV160, yeah, maybe. It sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good, and it started on the first pull. I give it credit. Now we have to fix the drive system not working and get some wheels on her and get a new airbox for her. So I hope that took a little bit of mystery out of the Honda carburetor for you. The fuel goes into the bowl by way of the needle seat and the float. And then the way it gets into the engine is simply through the jet. And then the emulsifier tube adds a little air to it. And that's how it goes in, right down the center of the carburetor. Once you've got those cleaned up and you make sure they're free of obstructions, you should start the first time every time. This one sounds really good for an old mower. Now she's got 2 or 3 other problems, but we'll get to those tomorrow. So for all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free and it's what we work for. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.